Good morning students, here we start with the gross anatomy of the interior of right ventricle, part 2. So in the interior of the right ventricle, in continuation, the same diagram we are going to draw on this side, and that diagram will be, this is the tricuspid annulus, and we are going to show the three valves, that is tricuspid valve leaflet, the three valve leaflets which we are going to show. This is the posterior one. This one will be the septal, and this will be the anterior. So this is how we show the three cusp of the tricuspid valve. And here, just to mention, anterior, septal, the posterior. This we have discussed in part 1. Now here we are showing the thickened free margin. This is the free margin over here. This is the free margin, and just beneath the free margin is the rough zone. So therefore, here this is the demarcation of the rough zone over here, and then we show the clear zone just posterior to the rough zone, and behind that we show the basal zone. So in the basal zone, just to put that blue color, this is the basal zone. So this is the basal zone. Now here, if you just mark, this already we have learned, if you just mark here, this is the clear zone over here. This will be the, that is the clear zone, sorry, this is the rough zone, clear zone, and over here, this one will be the basal zone. So rough zone, clear zone, and basal zone, all the three cusps. Now, as we have already drawn, here we show one of the papillary muscles. This is the papillary muscle, and here, just to demarcate, this is the papillary muscle. So therefore, chordae tendineae. Now we have to draw the chordae tendineae. So in the interior of the right ventricle, part 2, in continuation of part 1, we start with chordae tendineae. They are fibrous collagenous thread-like structures which are connecting the apical 1/3 of papillary muscle with that of the ventricular surface of the tricuspid valve complex or ventricular surface of the mitral valve complex. So either it will connect the ventricular surface of this right atrioventricular valve complex or tricuspid valve complex, or it will connect the ventricular surface of the left atrioventricular valve complex or mitral valve complex. But at one end, it will always connect the apical 1/3 of the papillary muscle. These are chordae tendineae. Fibrous, thin, collagenous thread-like structures. They are the chordae tendineae. And these chordae tendineae, basically, they are connecting, as I told you, the apical 1/3 of papillary muscles, as they are connecting the ventricular surface of these cusps over here. They are divided into two categories, the false chordae tendineae and the true chordae tendineae, out of which we are going to consider only the true chordae tendineae. The false chordae tendineae, they connect the ventricular surfaces, so they are not of that importance. True chordae tendineae are divided, once again they are divided according to the zones on which they are attached. So supposing if these are the endothelial thread-like structures, our endothelial thread-like structures, if they are connecting in this way over here, then these chordae tendineae are named as, in the last lecture series we have discussed, these are the commissures. So anteroseptal commissure, posteroseptal commissure, and when it is closed, anteroposterior commissure. So therefore these chordae tendineae are commissural chordae. So they are also known as, now here you give the name, commissural chordae. Supposing these chordae, if they are connecting these septas which are present on the posterior cusp, remember there are two septas on the posterior cusp which will divide the entire posterior cusp into three scallops. So these chordae are known as the septal chordae because they are attached to the septa. Commissural chordae, septal chordae. Now there are certain chordae which are attached to the free margin. See here, these are the chordae which are attached to the free margin. This is the free margin of the three cusps. So attached on the tip of their margins, they are called free margin chordae. And there are certain chordae which are attached to the rough zone. So here, these chordae over here, they are known as the rough zone chordae. So therefore here, we will name these chordae as the rough zone chordae. Now this rough zone chordae are having three patterns of attachment where my fingers are there. In this rough zone chordae, they are attached to the free margin, or they are attached midway between free margin and the junction with clear area, clear zone, or in some cases they are attached to this junction between the rough zone and the clear zone. So that is rough zone chordae. And the last category will be these chordae which are attached to the basal zone. So therefore, the chordae which are attached to the basal zone, for example here I have drawn, these chordae which are attached to the basal zone, they are called basal chordae. So sometimes, very rarely, you may be asked one more question answer about the types of chordae tendineae. These are the types of chordae tendineae based upon their attachments. It is very easy to remember diagrammatically and with the help of line diagram. Now, we come to trabeculae carneae. What is trabeculae carneae? That is a very important terminology. If we come on this side, please come on this side. The trabeculae carneae is the rough inflowing part of the right ventricle. The rough inflowing part of the right ventricle, trabeculae carneae, is now divided into three different terminologies: the ridges, the bridges, and the papillary muscles. So here I will mention the ridges. First I will mention the ridges. What are ridges? We are discussing the gross anatomy of the inflow tract or the rough portion of the right ventricle, trabeculae carneae. It is divided basically structurally into three different terminologies: ridges, bridges, and papillary muscles. So ridges are linear elevations which are found along the pathway of the inflow tract. And these linear elevations, they consider, out of these linear elevations, one structure that deserves importance will be the presence of one linear band, linear ridge-like structure, which is dividing the inflow from outflow tract, which already I had discussed in the previous lecture, and that is known as the supraventricular crest. So here I will mention this as supraventricular crest. Remember, embryologically, supraventricular crest is a remnant of infundibuloventricular ridge. So it is derived from infundibuloventricular ridge, that is supraventricular crest. And for that to understand, the same diagram which we had drawn, that is the cross section. Now here, this is the cross section. This one will be the right atrium. Over here there will be the right ventricle. The same cross section we are going to draw, which we had drawn previously. Here I will just extend it so that we get enough space. Now over here we show the demarcation and we show the tricuspid valve, right atrioventricular orifice. Over here we show that it will have the three cusps. So we are going to show the three cusps also of the tricuspid valve. And superiorly we are going to show, where my hand is there, the pulmonary trunk. And that pulmonary trunk, when we are going to show in cross section, we show the pulmonary trunk. This is the pulmonary trunk. That will be the infundibular part, outflow channel. This is the inflow channel. And then here we show few chordae tendineae. They are connecting with the one of the papillary muscles which we are going to show. So we are going to show the papillary muscle here. This will be the anterior papillary muscle, anterior papillary muscle. Now we are going to show the supraventricular crest. So the supraventricular crest will be present exactly connecting the ventricular septal wall with the right atrioventricular valve complex. So therefore here we show the supraventricular crest. So this is the supraventricular crest over here, and this supraventricular crest is a part of linear elevation which is known as ridge, and this ridge is a component part of trabeculae carneae. So therefore this supraventricular crest will be connecting the ventricular septum with that of the right atrioventricular valve orifice, and it will be present in the posterior wall of infundibulum, posterior wall of pulmonary trunk. Since this is the pulmonary trunk, so it will be present in the dorsal or posterior wall of infundibulum or pulmonary trunk, and it is connecting ventricular septum with that of the right atrioventricular valve orifice, supraventricular crest. So that supraventricular crest is a part of the infundibuloventricular ridge which is present embryologically, and it is known as one of the ridges. It will help in separation of two different channels within the interior of right ventricle. Supraventricular crest will separate the inflowing part from the outflowing part. Now we come to second component. So here this is the first component, ridges. Now we come to second component. If I write here, hope it is visible over here. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here we start with the second component which is known as the bridges. This is very important. Ridges, then second is bridges. What are bridges? They are once again bridge-like structures which are connecting the ventricular walls at their two different ends, but in the middle they are separate. In the middle they form a bridge-like structure, but their two ends are connecting the ventricular walls. So they just are small linear structures, the bridges, within the inside of right ventricle. When we open the right ventricle, when we dissect the right ventricle, we are looking inside across these bridges. There are so many bridges which are having the ventricular walls in which their two ends are attached to the ventricular walls, but their middle portion will be separated from the ventricular wall. They will function as in the form of a bridge. So therefore, the important component of this bridge will be the presence of the moderator band. So here it is known as the moderator band, or it is known as septomarginal trabecula. Septomarginal trabeculae or trabecula. So septomarginal trabecula is one of the bridges which is present in trabeculae carneae portion of the right ventricle, interior of right ventricle. So therefore, here if I show that bridge, remember that bridge will be connecting the anterior wall of papillary muscle, anterior wall of the anterior papillary muscle with that of the, it is present with that of the sternocostal surface of the right ventricle, or it is present in the connecting the anterior wall of the anterior papillary muscle with that of the anterior part of infundibulum. So this portion of the bridge, which is also known as septomarginal trabecula, is present in the anterior wall of the infundibulum, and infundibulum we know that it is the outflow tract, that is the pulmonary orifice. So therefore, this portion over here, we can mark it as septomarginal trabeculae. And this septomarginal trabeculae will function in the form of a bridge. And why it is known as moderator band? One of the reason is this septomarginal trabeculae, since it is present in the anterior wall of the right ventricle, and it is connecting the anterior wall of the anterior papillary muscle with that of the sternocostal surface as well as that of the anterior part of the infundibulum, it will prevent over distension of the right ventricle. So as it prevents over distension of the right ventricle, it is also known as moderator band. And what will it contain? This septomarginal trabecula will contain the right branch, this is very important, right branch of the bundle of His. And what is this bundle of His? It is called the atrioventricular bundle. So it will contain the right branch of the atrioventricular bundle, septomarginal trabecula. So therefore now, try and understand it in this way, that the infundibulum or this pulmonary trunk will have in its anterior wall the septomarginal trabeculae, and in its dorsal wall, posterior wall, there will be supraventricular crest. This is ideal way of understanding. So therefore, here we have finished the second component part of trabeculae carneae, bridges. Now the third important segment, if I write it over here, is known as papillary muscles. So this is the third important segment, papillary muscles. Ridges, bridges and papillary muscles. They together constitute trabeculae carneae. So papillary muscles, usually there are two papillary muscles, anterior and posterior papillary muscles within the interior of the right ventricle. Usually there are two papillary muscles, anterior and posterior. Now these papillary muscles, as we know, their apical 1/3 will be connecting the chordae tendineae. They will have attachment of chordae tendineae, and through this chordae tendineae they are attaching with the ventricular surface of the right atrioventricular valve orifice. So within the interior of right ventricle, there will be usually two papillary muscles, anterior and posterior papillary muscles. Their apical 1/3 will have connections of chordae tendineae, and through chordae tendineae they are connected to the ventricular surface of the right atrioventricular valve orifice or tricuspid valve orifice. So therefore, together with chordae tendineae, together with these chordae tendineae, the papillary muscles will help in closure of this tricuspid valve, during the ventricular systole. So that is about the papillary muscle. So therefore here the trabeculae carneae, once we have discussed the entire trabeculae carneae of the ridges, bridges and papillary muscles, we have completed the inflow tract, the inflow portion of the right ventricle. Now we start with the outflow portion. In the outflow portion, where my finger is there, that is the outflow portion, and this outflow portion is also known as we have written earlier in segment 1, it is also known as conus arteriosus, or it is called infundibulum, or it is also known as the pulmonary orifice or the pulmonary trunk. So therefore the outflow component is present. Now remember, what is the location of outflow tract? The outflow tract within the right ventricle is located in the upper part, left part and posterior part of the right ventricle. Upper, left and posterior part of right ventricle, in such a way that it will form an obtuse angle between the inflow and outflow. So the blood flow, as it enters the right ventricle and as the blood stream will be ejected from the right ventricle, it will form an obtuse angle. So the inflow tract and the outflow tract will form obtuse angle. That is one pattern of understanding. Now here, what does this pulmonary orifice consist of? The outflow tract, the infundibulum or conus arteriosus, will have its apex in the form of pulmonary orifice, where my finger is there. The apex in the form of pulmonary orifice. And in this pulmonary orifice, we will have 3 semilunar valves. And these 3 semilunar valves, these valves will be in such a way that each cusp of the 3 valve will have a central nodule and peripheral lunules. Central nodule and the peripheral lunule. So these are the 3 cusps of the semilunar valves. Very small diagram I have drawn. It will have a central, all the 3 semilunar cusps will have central nodule and peripheral part lunules. So this is the basic anatomy of the pulmonary orifice. And these 3 valves will help in the regulation of the blood flow or ejection of the blood flow from the interior of the right ventricle inside the pulmonary trunk. So therefore, this is the outflow channel, this is the outflow tract or the infundibulum or conus arteriosus of the interior of the right ventricle. And remember, these 3 valves will represent a triradiate line with their opposed margins, and when their margins will be opposed, and they will represent triradiate line in the form of this pattern. If you come on this side, please come on this side, these are the triradiate lines. These triradiate lines, they show in such a way that their margins are opposed. Under which condition? Under the ventricular diastole. But the same margins of the cusp of the pulmonary trunk will show triangular outlet when these margins are, they are separated. When this cusp will be separated, they will show triangular outline, and they will show the cusp as separated margins in the form of triangular outlines during ventricular systole. This is very important. So therefore now, only one sentence is there, that this outflow, pulmonary trunk or infundibulum, will have in its anterior wall the presence of moderator band or septomarginal trabeculae, and the same infundibulum or pulmonary trunk will have in its posterior wall presence of supraventricular crest. So with this we end the interior of the right ventricle. Thank you very much.